Hello friends, welcome to our today's discussion on India's trade-related issues. We have Dr. Amitendra Palit with us to talk about India's trade negotiations and the change which we have seen since November 2019 when India decided to get out of RCEP. What has changed since then? India seems to be very proactive about trade negotiation. Why do you think this has happened and where do we stand now?
Firstly, it's very easy to probably connect this to the COVID-19, but that's too simplistic a response to make. What has clearly happened is that India has started looking at trade in a very different way. And this is not to suggest that India might be going back to the RCEP again, which doesn't seem to be a possibility at all. But what has started happening is that India is seriously looking at getting into free trade agreements with countries whom it visualizes as its important global and regional partners. And to that extent, there is this understanding that a global and a regional relationship cannot prosper, cannot flourish unless and until that is accompanied by a constructive trade relationship, which is not just the question of goods and services exchanging borders, but also investment, also people-to-people movement, and a large number of other cross-border engagements. So that holistic perspective has come into play, and India is engaging with countries with whom it has been parallelly negotiating on a large number of other issues, including political issues and security issues.
Okay, so right now, if I understand correctly, India is negotiating as many as 5 different FTAs, and there are different levels. So, like some of them have been going on for last several years, maybe a decade or so in 1 or 2 cases, and some of them are recent ones. But just give us a snapshot. Where do we stand now? Out of these 5, are we going to conclude a few soon? How is it going?
As you very correctly mentioned, out of these 5, there are 3 with which India was previously engaged with, and those include the European Union, Australia, and Canada. The 2 new ones are the United Kingdom and United Arab Emirates. And as it happens, it looks like that the new ones are likely to finish faster, and that could be because they don't come with any old baggage. The one with the United Arab Emirates is likely to finish the earliest, because United Arab Emirates is really a country with which it is very easy to conclude a trade agreement. They're an extremely outward oriented economy, and as far as their demand from India is concerned, it doesn't involve any significant concessions on market, which could be politically sensitive. The one that might follow thereafter is the one with the United Kingdom, for the simple reason that there is already an enhanced trade and economic partnership which has been announced between the 2 countries. The UK, after Brexit, is on a trade agreement signing spree. Absolutely. So as a result of that, the UK is very keen to conclude this agreement, perhaps more interested, more keen than India, and India looks pretty much set to at least conclude an early harvest program, which would see 50% of a standard trade agreement come into place. What's going to happen with European Union, Australia and Canada is difficult to say at this point, but it looks like, as far as the Australia agreement is concerned, there is a lot of sort of push that is coming in from the Australian side, including the appointment of the former Prime Minister Tony Abbott as a special envoy. Australia's relationship with India at a strategic level has dramatically improved over the last 4 years. So there's no surprise as such if this trade agreement goes through. But my suspicion is that the one with the EU will take the longest time to conclude, because those are going to involve the most complex of issues, including
environment,
including data, labor standards, the way the competition policy is handled, the way the quality standards are handled, a large number of issues which India and EU have never really seen eye to eye on.
Right, but what about Washington? What about free trade agreement with the US? Is it making any progress right now?
I don't think so, for the simple reason that I don't think any new free trade agreement is actually on the agenda of the Biden administration. The Biden administration continues to remain primarily domestic interest focused. And to that extent, I don't really see, as far as trade is concerned, there's a very significant difference vis-a-vis its predecessor. The Make in America slogan remains a persistent slogan. The focus remains on American workers. But what has happened is that in a change of posture, Biden is looking to cultivate the existing trade relationships with important partners in as careful a manner as possible. And I think the USTR visit that happened to India at the end of November was one of the most productive visits that has happened in recent times. And in fact, the statement that was released on the occasion was as granular and as nuanced and as content rich as it could be. And I think the best part of that statement was that both countries avoided any reference to a free trade agreement, instead focused on getting the foundations and basics right as far as the pending issues, the current issues are concerned, trying to see how those could be resolved, because unless those are resolved, the groundwork for a free trade agreement doesn't come up.
Okay, so just to conclude, Dr. Palith, give us an overall understanding. For several years now, India's trade growth has been very flat. But now, post-COVID, we have seen a sharp spike because of several factors, including China plus one or whatever. But do you think, is this going to sustain? Or if this FTAs happen, or this global situation, the way this is panning out, in this overall scenario, how do you see India's trade growth increasing or expanding in the years to come? I mean, that too in, say, short time frame, 3 to 5 years. How is it going to expand?
See, I'll mention two things over here. The first is, if we look at the numbers, I mean, one of the problems that we have when we look at trade purely through a statistical prism is that we only rely on the numbers that are available for trade in goods, because the trade in services numbers, unfortunately, till now are not captured by any statistical system which yields the bilateral numbers. When we look at the trade in goods numbers, yes, India's trade this year is looking to be on the upward trajectory, and that is a reflection of the fact that the economy is recovering, and the trade is being driven more by imports as opposed to exports, though exports have also improved. Yes. There's no denying that, and India has been able to capture at least a little bit of the space which has been probably vacated by China and Southeast Asia due to production stoppages. Going ahead from here, how does one look at the rest of the scenario panning out? Yes, definitely the free trade agreements are important for India as far as its own trade and economic growth is concerned, primarily because of the fact that if we look at India trading without the free trade agreements, the issue becomes entirely dependent as far as penetrating into other markets are concerned on the comparative advantage that Indian products have, which unfortunately is limited across most sectors. So they need preferential and institutional market access, which will enable them to get that particular access, which otherwise, in absence of that arrangement, will not be feasible. So I think FTAs are important. Indian exports can certainly improve as a result of that, but it's a two-way traffic. Indian imports will also improve, and I think this entire narrative of India being a part of the global supply chains has to be a two-way traffic. You need imports for exports, and that's a realization that should better sink in as fast as possible.
Thank you so much, Dr. Palith.
You're welcome.